Hi, guys.
Hi.
Welcome. You may be wondering why we look a little bit different today.
Yeah.
And it's because we're here to serve some justice. We're here to put down the law, enforce the law. If you're listening on Spotify,
Yes.
we're wearing judge outfits because
We're dolled up.
we're dolled up and we're here to serve.
Yeah.
We're very excited for today. Today is the first episode of our People's Court, where we'll be reading stories and we'll be giving our 2 cents and sending them to jail, the death penalty.
Yeah.
Or maybe just fining them.
Yeah. A little fine here and there. This really was birthed for really my love for Reddit.
Yeah.
And I really put Leo on, guys, because I feel like I've always gone on there and seen the craziest things known to man.
Yeah.
And so we were like, actually, let's sentence these Reddit users to jail.
No, because some of them, the things that they say, this is a jailbird. Some of y'all should be under the jail.
Y'all should be under the jail. Y'all thought this was just an anonymous thing. You were going to get away with it.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you're going to.
It's time for your time in the big house.
Yeah.
And without further ado, let's get into it because we have no time to waste.
Yes. Wait, real quick. Let me just say this. If y'all see my face sliding down, understand that it is.
Oh my gosh, no, it's
right
really
now.
hot right now. And if you hear a fan, it's because we have fans on us because it is really hot.
Yeah, no AC right now.
No AC right now.
Woo!
This is the struggle. No AC right now.
Let's get started.
Okay. So the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this story was interesting. I don't think you've heard this story.
Okay.
So this is from a man, 33-year-old male. He said, I feel like I'm losing my mind from the things my wife, she's 33, does and thinks nothing of. Already captivating. Okay. I'm like, which one of y'all are in the wrong?
Right.
So today he took his 6-year-old daughter to the park down the street. She plays with 2 young boys whose parents he's familiar with. And he said had a conversation with the boy's mother. She said his daughter got on one of the swings in the backyard and, everything was going well until his daughter turned and looked at him and said, stop talking to your girlfriend and come push me. And he said, that's, insert boy's name, mother, don't say things like that. And so he's like, where did that come from? So he said, we come home and my wife gets home from work. I tell her what our daughter did and how awkward it was. She starts taking shots immediately. Oh, you have a girlfriend around the corner. Maybe that's why you always go to the park. Due to past similar events, this already angers me greatly. He said he goes to shower, and while he's in the shower, my daughter tells my wife that I was sitting there holding hands with the mother and looked like we were in love. Totally untrue, but she's 6 years old, so I let it go. I get out the shower to her on the bed waiting to question me. She says, can I ask you a question? I say yes. She asked if I was holding hands with the mother, and I said, no, that's ridiculous. How can you even think that's a possibility? We just talked for 5 minutes. She said she doesn't back down. She carries on with more and says she believes my daughter. I told her to go to the mother's house and talk to her then. What the fuck? I hate this. It feels like such an insult and just shows me how our whole marriage is bullshit. And she thinks nothing of me. She's so insecure and always accusing me of things, and I just feel like I'm going to explode and I can't take it anymore. Can anyone relate or offer advice on this? So first of all, the first person that needs to be sentenced in this, the first person,
Come on.
the daughter.
The daughter.
Because it's people in the Reddit forum oh no, at the end of the day, your wife shouldn't be as insecure. Let's backtrack because that daughter doubled down.
There's an enemy in the camp.
There's an enemy in your house.
Yeah.
And it's your daughter.
She's the one stirring stuff.
She's stirring stuff. I don't care. At 6 years old.
Because chances are this little girl knows how angry it makes her dad.
No, she knows how insecure her mom is.
She's going for bad for both.
For both sides.
It doesn't make either one of them
She
happy.
said, this is making my mother distraught. Let me sit on the bed while my dad's in the shower.
Yeah.
First of all, she knew that you needed to be away. So she has common sense. This is a smart girl.
Yeah,
she might be a sociopath.
She might be a sociopath.
She might be.
Yeah.
She said he let him get in the shower first. And I'm going to tell my mom, not only were they flirting, they were holding hands and they looked like they were in love.
Like, it's really giving strange, because I feel like some people go on Reddit and like they're just trying to be like, they're kind of lying because they're trying to make themselves look better. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he's fabricating that.
No, he's not
I
fabricating
think that
this.
little girl literally was making
He
a
said
six
that
a
was
great time
crazy.
to make up stories. She was making
A
up
great
stories.
time. And for me, I
Yeah.
don't know what Judge Lindsay has,
Yeah.
but for Judge Leah, this is not just a fine. I'm going to say 6 months of jail time, 2 years probation.
I believe in rehabilitation is a certain way. I'm sentencing her to juvie.
How long
I
though?
would say 2 years.
2?
She needs to make sure that her mind is okay.
She does, but I'm saying I think 6 months is okay. When you have 2 years probation, no, because listen to this. If she strikes again, that probation turns into jail time.
That's actually true. That's true.
So I feel
would
like
do 6 months juvie and then maybe like a year or two of probation.
yeah, period.
Yeah, or maybe 2 full years of probation.
And that's what I'm
Because I know she's diabolical, but you do have to be easy.
You
on
do
somebody.
you have to
Yeah.
try. He says she's 6 years old. Maybe she's getting this from
This
the mom.
isn't her first time. She's literally ruining her parents' marriage.
Yes, she's trying to. Now moving on to the mother.
Okay.
Now, one thing I do want to discuss, he said in there, he said due to past things, this makes him really upset. So I'm like, did you cheat in the past?
Yeah.
Or has she been accusing you in the past?
Okay, guys, there is a world where there is a nagging accuser who's very like insecure down. Where
Yeah.
you never did anything, or maybe the thing that they thought that you had did was not even something that you actually
something you did.
So what I'm thinking now is that she's just insecure.
I think she's insecure.
I think
too.
she's insecure. I don't think he did
insecure.
anything.
No, I don't think.
Because he wouldn't be this mad if he actually was.
Yeah. No, me personally, I don't think that he.
I
did
don't think he
anything.
did
I'm gonna take the bait.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stand by him.
Yeah,
He had enough proof.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stand by him because one thing that's crazy is that the mom wasn't even questioning the little girl.
Yeah.
Or she wasn't even saying how like these comments are inappropriate. I feel like that's a woman who can't see anything but jealousy. She's not even focusing on the fact that their daughter is like being a little crazy.
A 6-year-old gave her this information. She don't even care.
No, but that the 6-year-old, because I feel like, hold on, the disrespect that the 6-year-old gave.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being 6 and telling your dad, like, stop talking to your girlfriend? What about your mother?
You gotta stay out of grown folks' business.
But like, I'm not calling anyone my dad's girlfriend when my mother
But you see, she would only say that if she had heard that type of talk.
yes,
from
because
the
that's what she hears.
That's
from the
what she
mom.
said.
The mom is like, stop talking to your girlfriend.
Now, let me say something. If you are that insecure, you should not be allowed to be in a relationship.
No, you
I don't care what anybody says. I get that we all deserve to be loved.
Yeah.
You need to love yourself.
You do.
You do, because you're tormenting anybody that you date.
Yep.
When you are so insecure that they can't even have friends, they can't even have conversations.
Yep.
They can't even have an imagination.
They can't.
Without you running wild and trying to say like, oh, you're cheating.
And so that's why he said they've been married for 13 years and he said he's sick of it. He's sick of it. This sentence to me, this is someone who needs some deep help and some deep work on themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm sentencing her to 5 years.
Of what?
Jail time. 5 years of jail time.
I think she definitely needs to go to a facility, jail, but maybe a facility where she can get her money right.
And that is going to be spent when it's her and those 4 walls.
Okay.
Those 3 walls. Sorry. Because, 4 walls. Those 4 walls
3 walls and 2 like bars.
and some bars.
Yeah.
She will learn something about herself. Because guess what? She's been tormenting him and she's being a bad mother. So I just feel like 5 years.
We'll give her that 5 years.
We'll give her 5 years.
Next.
Yep. Next. Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, you got it.
I forgot. Next. This next one, let me see. This is interesting because I feel like, well, I'm not going to spoil it, but I feel like it's a lot of people that deserve some time in jail for this one.
Okay.
Okay. The title is my boyfriend, 27 male, fetishizing me, or am I, 20 female, overthinking about this?
20?
20.
Okay.
7-year age difference.
Okay.
I have been dating my boyfriend for about a year now. We're from different ethnic backgrounds, which has never been a big deal for me since I've dated people from various races before and never had a specific preference. In the beginning of the relationship, I found out that both of his previous girlfriends were the same ethnicity as me. At first, I didn't think too much of it. I figured that's just who he happened to click with. But over time, I realized he's only ever been attracted to women from my background. And he said he doesn't really find women of other ethnicities attractive. That started to feel less like a preference and more like a fixation. While I don't think watching porn in a relationship is cheating, the type of content he watches makes me incredibly uncomfortable. It's all videos that hypersexualize my race. On top of that, he's active in Reddit communities that revolve around fetishizing not only my ethnicity, but specifically our exact interracial dynamic. He once even asked me to wear racially inspired lingerie in bed, and while some people might be okay with that, I couldn't help but feel like he wasn't seeing me, just a fantasy version of someone who looks like me. It all made me feel more objectified than appreciated. Yes, I found some of this out by going through his phone, which I know isn't great, but honestly, I feel sick. I can't shake the feeling that I'm just a fetish object to him instead of a real person with feelings, thoughts, and an identity beyond my ethnicity. Is this something I should genuinely be concerned about? So a moment of silence, because I feel like sis is just really...
She about to get some years for being stupid.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. It's definitely giving buffoonery.
Yeah.
It's giving dumb in a way that doesn't make any sense.
Tomfoolery.
Tomfoolery for sure. So she's definitely going to get sentenced as well. But we can start with the boyfriend.
Yeah, okay. So wrong on so many. There's a lot to
digest on that. I mean, no, we got to sentence her first.
Yeah.
Sorry. Because it's the things that, like, you know that this is really dumb. For everything she was saying about him was crazy.
Yeah.
And I can't even focus on him because of the way that she's partaking in this.
Well, yeah.
And the fact that she knows all of these things and she's
having like a Sex in the City, like I can't help but, you know what I mean?
But no,
a Carrie moment. Like I'm like, no girl, it's there.
It's there. And okay, she is 20, but I feel like at 20, you should still know.
Well,
not only like at 20, I understand bypassing the fact that all his other girlfriends were your race.
Okay.
And bypassing the fact that he only likes girls of your race.
Right.
I can see you being like, because you know you're 20, you're like, well, and he's 27, so he's probably doing a good job of manipulating her. Being included in Reddit forums that are specifically based on y'all's interracial dynamic, and also watching porn where it's literally people that look like you being hypersexualized, I don't care. She's talking about, I went through his phone, so I feel bad. That's enough to make me disappear without a trace.
That's enough to get ghosted respectfully.
No, not even respect. Like, actually, the next time I see you, I'm screaming and running.
Yeah, and actually, maybe I'm warning future people about you.
Yeah, no.
Because it's giving predatory behavior.
That's the type of stuff you figure out.
Young people of whatever race that she is.
No. And you scream and you go tell your girls, like, that was like a nightmare experience.
Yeah, it's
because that's scary.
No, it's really, really, really insane. I feel like, I ain't even gonna get into all that because let me tell you something. I know what race these people are.
Yeah.
Just based off of the story, I think I can kind of put together. You can put it together too. Let us know in the comments what you think.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, as a person of color, it's not okay.
No,
it's not normal. So she said that she has been with people outside of her race before.
Yeah.
I guess my question for her would really be, were they all the same race that's not your race? Or like, was it more of like, you've been
Well, she said she's been with various ethnic backgrounds.
Okay.
That's what she said, because she said she thought it was weird that he had only been with one ethnicity.
Interesting.
So I'm guessing that it's not just one ethnicity for her, because for when he said that, she thought that was
strange.
Yeah.
So if you done spun the block,
yeah,
and you realize that this person's not doing that, or in fact he's only spinning the block with your type. I don't know. I will always say, like, side note, I personally feel like if you're dating someone, they should not only have dated people that look like you. I think that's actually strange.
Unless y'all are from the same race
Unless you're from the same race, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
So like me as a black woman, if I date a black guy and he's only dated black women, that's not strange.
That's not strange.
It's strange. People do kind of date based on what they're used to.
Yeah.
But if they date outside of their race and it's one other race only.
Yeah, and it's the race you're a part of, like,
that's kind of strange.
If I meet a white guy and all four of his last girlfriends were black. And I'm not talking about a white guy that was raised around black people. I'm just talking about, everyday white man.
Guys, and that's the thing. We're not saying that you can't like what you like.
Yeah.
But you can't sit here in my face.
But you can't have that and then all those other things that she added on there. Because that is already like a strike. But you have 3 strikes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna have deep talks about this.
Yeah.
But if I find that you're only watching porn that includes black women, and you're also on those white male, black woman things of like, yes, I love my Nubian queen.
Jail. And also, you want to do a little fantasy in the bedroom, dressing up like in, I don't know, like African attire, whatever attire it is. We're saying African because we are black, but I'm saying whatever you have going on there, y'all have to understand that that's very strange.
Yeah.
That's very strange to cosplay. And you want her to put on her cultural
Like, you put on your cultural stuff. What's going on?
Put on yours.
What?
Yeah, I don't like that.
No.
But he got you.
So the sentencing.
Yeah,
I feel like for her, because she does need some help.
she does.
I'm not angry at her, but she needs some help. I'm going to give her 3 months in the slammer, 1 year probation.
That's actually a really, really good sentencing. I feel like 3 months is just enough for you to kind of get your mind right. And I'm gonna put her in a nice facility. She don't have to do no hard time.
No, it's not going to be prison.
It's not gonna be prison.
It's going to be a facility.
I'd give her 3 months without the rehabilitation because you should have learned everything you need to know within them 3 months. That's me.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
All right, moving on to this man.
This man, I already have karma has a sketch for him 10 years in the slammer.
For his crimes against humanity,
10 full years because he's a freak.
He's a freak.
No, like,
Creep.
it's something deep in there. It's nasty, and he doesn't need to be on the streets.
Yeah.
Because he's already done it to 2 other women.
Yeah, he has, what do they say? Like, without the possibility of parole. I'm gonna put you in there, and you gonna be in there.
You gonna be in there for 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years.
But when you get out, no probation.
Okay, yeah, 10. Fair. Justice.
I think justice was served.
Justice was served.
And I would tell him to pay her a fine, but she doesn't deserve that.
No, not
because she's willingly stepping into that.
Yeah.
This next girl though, she deserves. But we finna read.
Oh, you scared me.
Okay. My fiance, 44 male, and I, 29 female. What is that? 15 years?
Oh, something like that.
Yeah.
Don't let him know we can't do math.
Yeah, don't let him know that. Moved to a certain race-dominated town, and he's acting odd. Where to go from here? This is a long story, so I'm going to try to summarize.
Okay.
My fiance and I moved here 3 weeks ago for his new job. I am so proud of him for this. I helped him during the interview process, shaved his beard, lined it up, gave him certain things I used when I worked in an office. I picked out his clothing, etc. We were excited about the opportunity. Although I'd be 2 hours from family and friends, we thought it'd be a great start. Plus, the pay is amazing. Obviously, my mother had some issues with it, but wished us the best. My son's father went insane, but I said I would gladly meet him somewhere closer to for pickups and drop-offs. I have sole custody, so I double-checked, and I was allowed to change school and move our son. She's jumping through a lot of hoops.
A lot.
He had notice of it, but only got mad when I turned down his proposal to date again. He thought my fiance getting a new job far away meant I'll go back to his cheating, abusing self, narcissistic. She talking about her baby daddy, y'all. So that's beyond the point.
Okay.
Now, my issue is I'm Black, specifically Caribbean, and my fiance is white Canadian. This new city is primarily white. I get way more stares here in the last 3 weeks than I have in my entire life. For example, I was driving to pick up my son from school, and this lady almost crashed her car, breaking her neck, staring at me. This other gentleman in his car beside me at a red light, again, kept staring at me. Just today, I had an older man I saw sitting on his porch leave his porch to walk 4 houses down where I parked my car, waiting for my son's bell to ring, to walk next to my car and peep inside. Whether my fiance wants to admit it or not, I'm being stared at like I'm some kind of new species of human. And I started to notice something strange. When my fiance and I go grocery shopping, he says, let's separate and meet up when it's time to pay. Odd, I thought, but I let it go. We went to Winners, I guess it's a grocery store in Canada, I don't know. Same thing. He said for us to separate. Then again, at an antique store, we were getting a lot of looks and he literally just disappeared. I didn't even know how long he was gone while I was talking to myself before I turned around and saw he wasn't there. He claimed he told me he was going to the washroom, but he definitely did not. I know his job is very important in this town, and he did mention everyone at his job are all Caucasians. Not a single person of them are of any other race, so now I have this gut feeling he doesn't want them to know that I am Black because he's afraid they'll think of him differently. That's why when we are out, he wants to be apart. I brought this up to him, and he said he just felt like he was being clingy lately, but yet yesterday we visited old friends and he was all over me like he usually is. I feel like this is grounds for a breakup because clearly he's uncomfortable about being seen with me in public, which makes me extremely self-conscious and just sad. I feel pretty much even more alone. I read the whole story, y'all. I had to read the whole story.
Like, first and foremost, that might be some of the saddest, like, shit I'd ever heard.
No, like,
that's really sad. That's, like, you know, first and foremost, I really do think that's sad, honestly. Like, where did they say they moved? Where did she say?
She said he's white Canadian.
So you think they moved?
I think that they're in Canada, for
like,
sure.
it's his hometown type thing?
I mean, it's not his hometown because they both moved away from family, 2 hours away.
Okay.
So they moved to a different city in Canada that is primarily white.
Yeah, because at first I was thinking, like, if this is in the U.S., I was trying to guess, like, what city could she be living in where they're literally looking like they've never seen a black person. But, okay. I mean, it gives that, like, they both definitely took, like, a little bit of, like, it was an inconvenience. It's always an inconvenience to move away from family.
But I mean, she took the biggest
She took the biggest one.
because her son had to move schools.
Yeah.
She had a huge argument with her baby daddy. Her mom didn't want her to leave.
Okay.
And it seemed like for him, she was like, this was something he really wanted that he got. So, at the end, she still has to drive 2 hours back to drop her son off at her baby daddy's house. Like, they have to meet an hour in between. So she gave up a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like, unlike the previous story, she's not being dumb in this.
Yeah.
This is something she thought her and her man were solid. And she said he's all over her around their old friends. And then they get to this new town and he's like, let's split up.
Shoot, there is nothing like figuring out how solid you are until you take your first move.
Yeah. But honestly, it's like, dang, it sucks for her because she didn't know this was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
But this is something that they could have solved by just going on a trip to a predominantly white country.
Yeah, well,
you know, they could have just gone somewhere, like go to the UK or something. Well, the UK, I was saying, maybe to like Spain or France.
Well, you think he still would have folded? My thing is,
he would have folded because they would have been staring at her just the same.
They would have been staring at her, and he would have been nowhere to be found.
Yeah,
I think that's very interesting to be ashamed of the person you're with, so much so to where you're not going to stand next to them when people are looking at them.
But also, you're 44. Like, you're a grown man. And you're literally caring about the stares of people. It's not even like they're saying anything. Like, get this black girl out of town. They haven't even said anything. They're just staring.
They're just looking at her.
Yeah.
But I feel like him being white himself, I mean, maybe he already knows what they're thinking. And he doesn't want to deal with it. But my thing is, why would you be with her in the first place?
Yeah.
And her baby daddy, her child is from her previous relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm assuming that her child might be black as well.
Yeah.
I think it's a crazy predicament to take them out of their own habitat and put them into yours.
Yeah.
And something that's new for them and uncomfortable and not be there to protect them.
Yeah.
You know, while that's going on. I think like...
Also, the 15-year age gap, I'm questioning it. I do believe that people can have a big age gap. I'm not fighting it.
I'm always looking at you sideways, but we'll see.
I'm not fighting it because I'm not fighting it. 15 years, though, is a little bit big.
It's a stretch.
It's a stretch, and that's a stretch enough for y'all to have generational, like, different beliefs generationally. Mm-hmm. Because him being 44, I'm expecting him to still be able to stand on his own 2 feet because he's a grown man. Mm-hmm. But who knows? He could have been taught by his parents, like, interracial relationships. That was not existent in his world. Mm. So it could be a lot of shame still there. But at the end of the day, that don't matter because there's a child involved and you've moved places and, you know, she got to get a new job.
Yeah.
So with that being said, it's time to sentence. For me, what I'm going to say for this man, based on all the offenses that he's done.
Yeah.
1 count... Because he has 1 count of displacing this family. Yeah. 1 count of child abuse, honestly.
Yeah.
A count of emotional abuse.
Yeah.
And what other counts?
Neglect.
A count of neglect.
Yeah.
I would say those 4.
Yeah.
First of all, all 4 charges. Restitution. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He needs to pay this woman what she would make in a year at her old job. Yes. Because now she has moved places. Mm-hmm. She didn't mention nothing about working. No. So she's moved places. She needs to move back and get her own place because she can't move back in with her baby daddy and she has a son. So a year's salary of her old job, period. He also is going to serve a prison sentence of 2 years.
I think that's so real.
I think it's real.
I think that's real. And, you know, he needs to go somewhere where they don't look at him the way that everybody was looking at, you know, his girl. I think that's really, guys, I'm telling you, like, my heart goes out to her. Yeah. I cannot imagine being in a relationship with someone. And this is not just, I mean, obviously he's white. I can imagine dating outside of my race. I go somewhere, I'm around their people. And
he's not standing up.
He's not standing up.
Like, can you imagine? It's not just meeting his family. And then it's a switch up because he used to. Yeah. When y'all are around people who are more accepting, it's like, oh, it's cool, it's chill. Yeah. Y'all move back to a place. Say you move back to like his home country or his hometown. And now he's acting brand new and leaving you to the wolves.
Yeah,
she be walking around and people are staring at her. That's uncomfortable.
He can't even deal with people staring at them.
Yeah.
He's not going to help you if some stuff were to go down.
If some stuff really goes down, if someone's like, "Oh, we're not going to serve you here."
Oh, he's not even there.
No, he's not.
He doesn't like conflict, and I don't know if you're not fighting hard against like racism. Then I'm gonna give him 5 years, girl. I don't like that.
5 years.
I don't like that.
Oh,
No, we say no to racism.
yeah, we say no to racism. Well then, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
and that's that. Oh,
that was
Next.
nasty.
that was very nasty.
That was
And her saying that she's starting to become insecure. I don't play about people ruining people's self-image, especially over some like racial things.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Can you see my body tip?
These wigs are literally sitting on our heads like hats.
Like a hat.
And honestly, it's extra hot. Like it's bothering me. I don't know how people wear wigs every day. Anyways, this is a female. She's 29 years old. My grandma passed away today, and my partner, he's a male. He's 34 years old, 5-year age difference. I don't know why I'm clocking these age differences, but I just feel like it plays a part.
Yeah.
Decided to go out for dinner. How do I tell him that I'm really hurt by this? So her grandpa passed away that day, and he decided to go to dinner.
With who?
We're about to read.
Okay.
She said, my grandpa passed away today. He lives in another country, so unfortunately I cannot attend the funeral or be with my family. My partner and I had a dinner reservation I was looking forward to the last few weeks, but given today's events, I don't feel like going out. My partner, saying that it would be rude to stand up a reservation, there was no phone number to cancel it, decided to go to dinner on his own. This is making me reconsider my relationship. Do I really want to be with someone who even thinks about going to dinner on a day like this? I am incredibly disappointed and sad. He asked me after he got ready if I am okay with him going. I should have probably said no, but I was just so astonished and upset that he was even considering it that I didn't want him around anymore, so I said, I won't say no. Anyway, he ended up leaving, and now I am alone and sad. What should I do?
You know what's really interesting? I did not think I was going to play devil's advocate as much as I have here in the courtroom. Like, I really did not think I was going to be so, like, well, let me try to see both sides of the story.
Yeah.
Because one thing I will say, as a previous passive-aggressive girl, you have to speak up for yourself.
I don't see both sides like Chanel in this one. This is actually atrocious.
Yeah, it is.
This is atrocious.
It is.
Someone shouldn't have to tell you
Yeah.
not to go out to dinner. And this wasn't like he's going to a business dinner that's been planned. Because when I first read the title, I'm thinking, okay, what kind of dinner is it?
Yeah.
You know, this isn't something that they planned for friends. People don't float out, or he might get this new job, or he needs to talk to his boss, which still, that sucks that he would leave you. But there are two sides of the spectrum. Maybe he's thinking like, if I don't take this, I won't be able to provide for us and our family.
Right.
You know, thinking like that. He said it would be rude to the restaurant to cancel the reservation.
Which is crazy because they'll find another you in a
There's two of y'all. This isn't a 15-person reservation where they had to put the seats together and reserve a specific room.
They forgot she was coming.
They didn't even know you were here. After 30 minutes, they were looking at time. They said, okay, y'all can take this table.
Yeah.
Like,
they don't care about you like
They
that.
don't care about
Stop
that.
playing
And that was BS. He's 34. He knows that. He wanted to go to that dinner to eat that food. Whatever restaurant, she said they've been planning it for weeks. Whatever restaurant it is, he was hungry for that food and he wanted it.
So my take is that it's definitely either one of his favorite restaurants or he gets extremely uncomfortable around you when you're like not in a good mood.
It could be that.
Yeah.
It could also be that he just doesn't care.
Or it could be that.
It could be that.
It could be that.
It could be multiple things.
Yeah, either way, it's malicious.
It's very malicious.
It's malicious.
It's malicious.
But here's what I meant by when I say you have to stand up for yourself in this sense. This is the way that us girls don't get gaslit.
Yeah.
When you put your foot up that man's ass, you don't have to question what he does moving forward when it's not the result that you want.
Yeah.
Had she said, no, I don't want you to go, and he went, there's no other questions about your relationship.
There's no other questions. But also, I feel like I would have done what she did. Except for one added thing.
What he's doing.
Because she said she was astonished, which means stuff like this doesn't normally happen.
Okay.
This isn't the first story where the guy is like, she's constantly doing this.
Yeah.
Like, this has never happened to her. This is new. This is new. You're 29, ma'am. You gotta buckle down and you could find your husband. This is not a game to be playing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I would have also let him go to dinner. I was like, well, if you want to go, then you go to dinner. Because this is insane.
Yeah.
People need to know how insane this is. Someone in my family just died and you're thinking about fulfilling a dinner reservation. I would have let him go. When he came back, everything that I own in that house would have been gone.
It would have been in a box to the left.
In a box to the left.
Yeah, 100%.
Everything would have been gone, including me.
Yeah.
And he would have never seen me again.
Yeah.
And there's no need for an explanation. That was the explanation.
That was it.
He
already
went to
knew
dinner.
how effed up that was.
He knew that was messed up.
Because I'm saying, like, let his PlayStation have gotten broken.
Yeah.
And he would have been on the floor crying, trying to figure out why you're not crying with him.
Why are you not crying with him?
Because that's what
and
I'm
why
saying.
you're still
Men are
thinking about
so
going
sensitive.
to dinner. Let him have got a call and something at work happened and they're like, you know, this was really poorly done. He would have been like, no way, I'm still going to dinner. I'm mad right now.
How could you even ask me that?
And her family's in a different country. So
She
it's
can't
time.
even be there with them. Yeah.
It's time.
He's going into the slammer.
He's going into the slammers.
going in.
I'm going to say, there's something I do want to say, but I don't even know. I'm going to go with life without parole.
You're crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy.
Now,
You have to give an explanation.
it's a tough one. It's a doozy.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, but I just feel like 34 pulling something like that,
Yeah.
you're a sociopath.
Yeah, you are.
You don't care that someone you love, if you do love them, you've been making them think that you love them.
You've been making them think that.
You don't care that someone in their family just died. This isn't, like I said, I wouldn't give him such a harsh sentence if he had a business trip. If he had something that had been planned, that it could work for the betterment of both of them.
Right.
It would still suck that he left, but at the end of the day, I would still try to see his side. Maybe I would give him 2 years. Maybe I would just give him probation.
Right.
You know, that kind of stuff. It was something as small. Lindsay, a dinner reservation.
A dinner reservation is like the dumbest thing.
It's the dumbest thing.
Y'all could have ordered in.
Maybe I'll give him life, which is 25 years, y'all. It's not your full life.
Yeah.
25 years
This is full
with
life.
the possibility. Yeah. 25 years
Yeah.
with the possibility of
Of parole. I don't know.
Okay.
He ain't never gonna learn his lesson, but I'll agree to that.
Period.
I think that's fair.
I
think that's fair.
y'all need to know, don't cross divas like us.
Don't
Don't cross divas like us. And don't come in our courtroom acting a fool. Because
You're getting locked up.
you're getting locked up.
You're getting locked
You're
up.
getting straight locked up. Okay. Here's another one. The Loki kind of like almost the last one. I might just have to ask some. I'm so much for
A little harassment.
I'm not finished. I'm feeling high off of power.
Yeah.
I'm not done. Okay. It's a 33-year-old female speaking.
Okay.
She says, I want to cancel my date and stop seeing the guy I'm talking to. He's a 44-year-old male. Over a text he sent last night. What would you say? I've been seeing the guy for a few weeks and we are still in new phases getting to know each other. Let's call him Brad. Last night I was out alone with my son. He's a toddler. Okay, so this is a woman getting back into dating. Yes.
Yeah.
And a weird, strange man approached me and made me and my son very uncomfortable to the point the restaurant staff had to get involved to remove him. I get home and tell Brad the story. Instead of asking me if me and my son are okay, he proceeds to say it's because you're pretty, LOL. He sends me multiple selfies and says he's excited for our date tomorrow.
He's done.
I don't want to see Brad anymore. How do I cancel the date? What would you say without writing a person a decade older than you a storybook? I want to be firm, short, non-explanatory. I'm not explaining to a grown man why his behavior is inappropriate. What should I say?
Sayonara.
This is a simple one.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego. Does somebody say bye?
I don't know.
Hasta la vista.
Mm-hmm.
At the
You're
end,
out of here.
You're
That's
outta
how you
here.
say it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done for. I
crazy.
think that when I first read this one, I was like, well, girl, period. But I think more people don't talk about stuff like this. Like, I respect her, and maybe it's because she has a son that she's doing it for.
Yeah.
I respect her because a lot of people nowadays act like things are confusing and up for debate. I feel like good for her for standing on business.
Yeah.
If I'm seeing you as a potential partner, take the child out of it because the child even more is the reason why she has to go hard. It has to be like serious. But even without the child, because there's a lot of people who are young who think that like things are just okay.
Yeah.
If I'm texting you and I'm like, someone was following me today and it made me really scared. Like, that was crazy. And they text back and they're like, oh, what were you wearing? Or they say something like, oh, it's just because you're sexy. Or, oh, period. Like, you should take that as a compliment. And then they send me like a picture of them and they're like, see you tomorrow. Like, people do too much for the plot. Like, they think stuff like that is funny. They'll go and make a TikTok post and be like, guys, and I still saw him the next day. Jail for you.
Jail for you.
Jail for you.
Jail for you.
Because he's living in his truth. He didn't lie. He thought that was funny.
He said, funny about
some man came and harassed you and your son at dinner. It's because you're cute. Haha. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. 44. This is a 44-year-old man.
Lord have mercy. That's so bad.
Like,
that's so bad. Like, to me, to be honest, y'all, that wouldn't sit right with me because I will be thinking, like, do I look stupid?
Do I look stupid? She says she had been talking to this man for weeks and they were still in the introduction. I'm happy she stood on it because some people feel like, oh, I just spent so much time. There's a Japanese saying, I recently saw it on Instagram. They're like, if you catch the wrong train and you realize, as soon as you realize you're on the wrong train, get off and catch the train back to where you're supposed to go. Yeah. Because the longer you stay on the wrong train, the higher the cost is going to be to buy a ticket back the other way. Wow. And that's what people are not realizing.
Yeah.
The longer you stay in something that's not serving you, the more...
the price you pay.
The price you pay, the higher the price is when you have to give it up.
Oh my gosh. And let me tell y'all something. That's actually so real.
Yeah.
I feel like, to me, my fear would truly be, and obviously, like, she felt the same way.
Yeah.
I think it's really strange for a person that you're seeing to not care for your safety.
Yeah.
Like, I think that, like, you can tell a friend, oh, somebody's, like, you know, I think somebody's following me. They're like, I'm calling the police.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, send me your location. Like, usually I think that is a normal response to a friend telling you that.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, we can't leave the child out of it. If you don't care about me, at least you care about children.
Yeah.
There are some men that are a little bit more like, you know what I mean?
But
They're
when it
on
comes to
go
kids.
because it's like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
This person's not just like harassing this woman. He's harassing this woman and her son. Like, you're going after two people that can't defend themselves. That's like psychopathic behavior.
That ain't no real man. He should have been like, do you remember what he looked like? Like, let's go get him.
Guys, he's in his 40s. He don't care at all.
He's 44.
For you to be that old.
He didn't care. When she sent that text message, he laughed and then sent her a picture of himself.
No, because I feel like men in their 40s, like, you were alive when things were rolling different in the sense that, like, you
toxic masculinity was winning.
Masculinity.
The answer to everything was a fight.
That's what I'm saying. You were alive back then when men were supposed to hold a little bit more.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? More power.
They were supposed to fight if you even looked at their girlfriend.
If you were, and like you're over here sending selfies, jail. No, I'm sorry.
No, that's jail.
That's jail, and I think you should be under the jail. I'm gonna have to give this man electric chair for this man right here. I think he's done enough with his time. In this lifetime, that's a crazy thing to be in your 40s and you don't even care about the safety of that woman and her son. I don't know. He might have been the man secretly harassing them with a costume on because
no, it might have been him, girl. Are you sure it wasn't him?
I'm saying there's something sinister if you could laugh at something like that.
Yeah.
There's nothing funny about that.
Wait, I have to think about this. Because I'm thinking about what we gave the last guy. I think, to be fair, not even to be fair, I think I'm going to have to give him 15 years. I'm going to give him 15 years. Yeah.
On what? Like, why?
On the basis that, one, when he gets out of 15 years, he's going to be 59. He's off the dating market. So no more harassment. No more harassment.
Yeah,
these people.
Yeah.
If he had money, that woman would have stayed with him.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not trying to say she's not a woman of integrity, but she would. It would have taken a little bit more than that. Okay, so we're on the right track.
Yeah.
I think to me he gives dunce energy. I think to me he gives dunce, and I think that men that are stupid still deserve jail time. But I think the male from the previous story, he was a manipulator and he knew exactly what he was doing.
And see, here's my thing. I feel like it is true that a man, you know, like, especially when you send in things in text, maybe they don't take things that seriously.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just like, oh, or maybe he's even thinking that how she's telling the story is not that serious.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to give you the chance in person to prove to me that you are exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
But I hear you. I don't know. It's something about a man that's like defenseless, a man that doesn't have nothing in there, no fight.
Yeah.
Him, for me, I don't know. That's so low. I think you have to, I think we have to go all the way back.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know if you could be rehabilitated.
I mean, yeah, you can.
That's what I'm saying. I think you born that way.
Yeah.
Truly, I don't even think that there's a man alive that could have taught you something because you made it to 44.
44.
Being the way that
Yeah,
you are.
yep.
I'm sorry. I think you showed your ass. You're almost halfway through your life.
Yeah.
And depending on what your genes look like,
You're
you
close
are
to death.
halfway through your life.
Yes.
You're
Death is knocking on your door.
knocking on the door of death. And I feel like you literally still to this day thought it was okay to send a selfie to a woman who thought she was in danger.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's time for you to be in some danger. That's thinking electric chair for me.
Electric chair, death row.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna give him. Yeah, I'm gonna give him 15 years in life probation.
Okay.
And
Overruled.
Overruled. No, period.
Yeah. Real.
Real.
And are we gonna
honestly-
do one more, or do you want to save the rest for like a part 2? Guys, this is endless.
Yeah, this is, I feel like now that we started, I don't know if we'll be able to stop because I just feel like
We put these wigs on and the power came out. I'm feeling
the power came out. I feel like I saw another one that I thought was just really good.
mm-hmm.
But honestly, we can wait. We can wait.
We can wait. I
We
feel
can
like we
wait.
can let y'all sit and digest that.
Sit and digest, and I'm so interested to see like what y'all would give these people, like how y'all would sentence these people, because I feel like we might have a heavy hand, but everything we said, we backed it up. We backed it up, and we said exactly like this is the reason, this is the basis, and I feel like we ate that. I watched
like-
Judge Judy. I see what they
terrorists
sentence
off the
these people.
streets.
We're getting terrorists.
Come on.
These are, like I said, some of them are freaks.
Yeah.
Some of them are terrorists.
Yeah.
Some of them are just dumb, and they can't be on the streets.
Evil, wicked people roaming the streets.
Roaming the streets, and I feel like
town safer.
we did a good work.
We did a good work today.
And then also, we didn't just let there's a defendant and there's the other one.
And there, yeah.
This is someone who served jury duty.
Yeah.
I'm letting y'all know. Recently, this went literally like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Recently on jury duty, I can't tell you what the other one is called.
Yeah.
But the other people, the people who are bringing forth the case against the defendant.
The prosecutor?
The prosecution,
Okay.
the prosecution's case.
Uh-huh.
Some of them, we gave them time too.
Yeah, we did.
That girl with her racially confused self, and with the whole thing with her boyfriend, she needs to be in there for 3 months because she has to think. We need to slot some sense in her.
We need to. Don't
because
bring
that doesn't make any sense. Because I tell you, Judge Judy would have dismissed her case.
Yeah.
She would have said, "You're not even thinking straight. If you're not going to stand up for yourself, you can go."
Mm-hmm.
But we listened to her, and she still gets 3 months. But when she gets out of jail, those 3 months, she's going to be a better woman.
Because here on the People's Court, we do it for the people, and that means every single person.
Every person.
Every person.
Every
involved.
person.
The people are going to get some justice,
Including children.
I will sentence your child.
Yes.
That 6-year-old, we should have spun the block.
No, that 6-year-old, we did.
We did give her something.
I said 6 months in jail and 2 years probation.
And you didn't even lie about that, yeah.
Maybe when she hits that 8th birthday and she's out of probation,
she'll think twice before she tells lies.
Before she lies.
Yeah.
And because that was a serious lie.
To lie on your parents, you have no shame.
No.
You
And
might
she's
be
not being
wicked.
taught. No, that's what I'm saying. She might be a sociopath.
Yeah.
Because next thing you know, she's going to be telling people, my teacher touched me. My director, my coach hit me.
Because she's not just saying it, she wants to see it through.
She wants to see it through. She came back home and said, guess what? And they were holding hands and looking lovey-dovey.
I know she probably sat there waiting, like, let's see what she gonna do.
Wow. She said she thought she ate that.
She low-key did, because clearly she pissed both of her parents
Yeah,
off.
she did. She made them mad. That's a child that likes to live in chaos, and that's a child that needs to go to jail, not juvie, jail for 6 months.
Jail. Y'all be like, what were the signs? These are the signs.
And we saw through it. We're doing this because we want people to get better.
We want people
And that's, you have to rule with the heavy hand.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is our episode for today. And we hope you liked it. If you know someone that needs to get sentenced, don't feel scared. Tell us. Go to our DMs. Let us know. Tell us the story. We will keep it anonymous. But we're here for the sentencing, and we're here to let you know what was right and what was wrong. If you're confused about a situation, we'll set it straight for you. And we'll give you time if you're the person that's deserving of it.
Yeah.
And yeah. We'll see you in our next episode.
See you guys.
Bye.